Hello and welcome back to our next lesson on the elements of art. If you have not seen the previous 3 lessons, you might want to go back and watch those because they actually lead into what we're doing today. All the lessons build up and lead into one another. The first lesson was line, second lesson was shape, the third lesson was value, and form actually takes all 3 of those and puts them together. So, if you haven't watched those, go back and watch them. This is part of our Art 1 class over the elements of art. So let's go ahead and get into our lesson, which is form. Form is whenever you take a shape and you add value to it, just like this right here. So you take a shape like we have right here, which is a bunch of circles, and then we add values to it, which is what we learned about in the previous video, and it makes it look three-dimensional. So that's all the difference is between these two pictures. One is just shapes, while the other one is shapes with values added to it. And that creates a form. That's all a form is. Shapes with value, and it makes it look 3D. That's it. So let me give you some examples. This right here is a great example of form because you may think that this is an actual person who is wallpapering up graffiti. In reality, the entire image is graffiti. The reason why this person looks like he's actually standing there is because of the values added to the form. So because this has values added to it, it makes it look like it's three-dimensional. It makes it look like it's actually there. And that's what a form is. This is also another example of form. You can see that the artist, which the artist is actually the artist. He's just standing in front of the picture. So he is actually standing in front of his artwork of the deer, and he's putting his hand up there kind of like that right there. And it makes it look like that he's standing in front of it. But the deer has a lot of values in it, which gives it the illusion of depth and makes it a form. Now, the last image I'm going to be showing you on form is probably the most popular and well-known optical illusion of all time by M.C. Escher, and it is called drawing hands. And the reason why I show this is it's a great example of how line, which you can see right here, line starts in the hand and it moves on up and then it comes back and meets itself and turns into a shape. And then it gets some values added to it right around in here, and it turns into a form, and then it circles back around and starts drawing itself all over again. This is a great example of form and how values can be added to shapes to really make it stand off the page and pop out. So let me get into your assignment. This is a very quick presentation, and, well, form is literally just shapes with values added to it. That's all there is to it. Your assignment for today, and this is an assignment that stretches today and tomorrow, so 2 lessons, 45 minutes a lesson, so an hour and a half if you'd like to do it all together. You're going to be selecting toys from, if you're in the classroom, I have a selection of toys that you can pick from, or if you're in your house, you can pick different objects or toys or forms or whatever you would like. And you are going to be drawing them, breaking them down into basic shapes, so you're using lines and shapes, and then you're going to be adding value to them. I don't want you to add value to the table. So for instance, if you have something that is setting on a table, like this water bottle, and you draw the water bottle, that's great. And then you add shadow on the table. That's not what I'm looking for. You're not drawing the table. You left the water bottle completely white, and that's not what you're looking for. You want your value inside of whatever you're drawing. These are some student examples that I've collected over the years. This is a really good example of how you need to put your shadows. The shadows go inside of what you're drawing, not on the table. You don't want to put your shadows on the table. Otherwise, well, you got a white form and it just has, well, shadows on the table, or he's setting in something that I don't really want to think about. And then here's some other examples. And I like Pikachu because Pikachu is a really great example of this, how the shading is inside of Pikachu. You can see all the shading and values that he has going on in here. And you have a little bit of shading on the table, but it doesn't distract or take away from the shading and values in the form. And that's what you want to get at. You want to shade the form. Here's some more examples, and great examples right there. My students did a really good job on these. Now, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to cut to the end of the video where I give you a live demonstration on how you're going to draw, sketch, and shade your form. So I'm going to go ahead and cut to that, but before I do, if you like this video, please go ahead and give us a thumbs up. If you have any questions, go ahead, leave a comment down below. And if you like this lesson, you'd like to continue with our other lessons, go ahead and subscribe to us. We will be uploading these lessons. I'm going to try to get an entire year's worth of lessons done in the next couple weeks. So if you'd like to follow along with us, go ahead. Thank you all very much for watching. And without further ado, I will show you the demonstration on how you can create forms right now. What we're going to be doing, we are going to be making a form drawing like you see here. And what you need is a toy of some kind or an object, a blank piece of paper, and a wooden pencil. And right here, I have my paper, and I have my figure that I'm going to draw. So how do you start this off? Well, you start off by looking at the shape, and you break this down into the most basic shapes that you can. And this figure is rather small, as you can see. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw it as big as I can on this paper, and it's going to make it a whole lot easier if you draw it bigger than if you draw it smaller. So what I'm going to do, since we saw this, I'm going to go ahead and set it down here so I can see it. And I'm going to draw it exactly the way I see it on here, and I'm going to use basic shapes to draw what I see. You're going to draw your basic shape. I'm going to start with the head right here, and you are not committed to these lines at all. It doesn't matter, okay? These are to help you. That's all these are. So that's the body that I see, and I'm going to go right down here, and I'm going to draw a little triangle right there for the ear, and I'm going to draw another one right up here. So this is the basic shape. That's what I see. From here, I'm going to go ahead and define my lines a little bit more. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to look at where this is, and you don't have to follow these lines. These lines are here to help you and guide you. You don't have to follow them. They're not set in stone. You can always go back over them later. You do not have to be committed to these. What these are, they are to help you. And once you get your lines down and you're ready to continue, then you can go on and move forward with it. So now, once you have this down, you start looking at where the light is falling on your object. And this is where form comes in. Because right now, all you got is shapes. That's it. It's not a form until you start adding in values. And remember how we held our pencil in the last video? That's how you're going to want to hold your pencil this time. So you look at the dark areas. So for me, the darkest area I have on the Pikachu is right there on the ear. So I'm going to add that in, dark value. And you add in the light values too. So dark values and then add in the light values. And I see a shadow right here on the ear as it comes down and around like that. Value down here. And I see that the eye right here is dark. Dark there as well. And then I see shadow there. Shadow up through here. And a darker shadow right there around the ear that leads up into this ear. And there's a Pikachu. And just so you know, the way that I was looking at it was about like that right there. So it was more like about like that. Yeah. So that's the way I was looking at it. Okay, so your assignment for today with form drawings, you're going to be selecting at least 2 toys and you're going to be drawing them using form drawings. Now this lesson is typically a 2-day lesson. This presentation is part of the first day, obviously, so you have approximately 15 to 20 minutes left in class. Try to go ahead and complete 1 form drawing today. Remember, shade the form. Do not shade the table. I don't care about what's on the table. I care that you shade the form. So go ahead, select a toy, pick a good angle that you want to look at it, set it off to the side, don't touch it, and draw it the way you see it. Tomorrow, whenever you go and continue this lesson, you're going to try to complete one form drawing, but if you can do more than that, go ahead. You have the entire class period to do nothing but form drawings. I want you to practice today. Tomorrow, I want you to put your heart and soul into it and make a really good one that you're proud of. Okay, thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, have a good one.